Starlink kits and then ship them right out to customers' homes.
When you manufacture the product that you design in-house, you're forced to live with mistakes. What that means is that you're very motivated to quickly innovate and iterate such that you can rapidly improve the process. Our previous generation of the production line was maxed out in terms of capability, and the demand for Starlink has kept growing. So when we sat down to go design this factory and this version of our production line, we were really forcing ourselves to innovate. The future of this factory is growth. We're in the middle right now of constructing an expansion to our current factory. We're going to add over 1 million square feet of manufacturing space over the course of this year and allow us to continue to insource more of our manufacturing processes so we can continue to go from raw material to completed kit within the walls of this factory. I can't understate the hard work of all the employees at this factory who've made this a reality. Less than 2 years ago, this was an empty building with no employees. And over the last 20 months, we've built a factory from scratch. We've gone from producing 0 kits to over 70,000 a week. And we've gone from 0 employees to over 1,000.
And it is incredible to see all of the tech in that facility that will help millions of people around the world the way they want to use it and the way that they need to use that technology. Definitely a lot of good things to come from our Bastrop facility. And while we're talking about the infrastructure that enables us to do all of these amazing things, you've probably seen some changes recently around Starbase. Coming online this year is the second tower at Starbase, and this tower has redesigned chopsticks and is built to accommodate the next generation of Starship and Super Heavy. It will have a redesigned launch mount and flame diverter system built to be rapidly reusable and hardy enough to withstand hundreds of launches at a time. Now, over at the production site down the road, we're also building a new integration and refurbishment facility called Gigabay. And Gigabay, as the name implies, will allow us to process more Starships at the same time over our current megabays. But Gigabay isn't just for Texas. If that weren't exciting enough, we're also further expanding Starship operations into Florida, bringing production and launch capabilities to the Space Coast. As Starship flight testing, development, and launch cadence continues to pick up pace at Starbase in Texas, over in Florida, we're building a Gigabay as well. Gigabay will stand 380 feet tall and will provide about 46.5 million cubic feet of interior processing space and about 815,000 square feet of workspace. Now, as environmental impact statements continue for potential Starship launches and flights from both Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center and Launch Complex 37 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, we plan to complete the Starship launch pad at Pad 39A this year. And pending the completion of environmental reviews, SpaceX intends to conduct the first Starship launch from Florida from Launch Pad 39A later this year. Now, we're also interested in enabling Starship launches from Slick 37. And as part of this process, SpaceX has been given a limited right of entry for Pad 37 to conduct further due diligence at the site in order to move forward with the environmental impact study that's being led by the Department of the Air Force. Ultimately, we will have production, integration, refurbishment, and launch facilities in both Florida and Texas, driving the needed flight rate for Starship to help make humanity a multiplanetary civilization. And Kate, I could talk about this stuff for literally hours on end, but we've got a Starship to launch today. So how are things looking 11 minutes before launch here?
Yeah, it's pretty cool that we're getting close to go time. Quick update on range and weather. For the range, the area around the pad has been well cleared. This includes the land, air, and sea space. So all is clear on the range front. That also applies to over in the Indian Ocean. The sea and air space has been cleared as well for ship's reentry. Once again, we are making a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. So just the buoy cams are out there, and we'll get some great videos once again. Weather, we have a 35% chance of violating the weather the weather constraints for launch today. So it's not perfect, but it's not bad. Visibility also not so awesome. We can see the tower here. We're 2 miles away from the launch pad, but visibility around the greater area might be a little challenging.
Yeah. In terms of the vehicle itself, so right now you can see we're almost done loading prop on ship, almost done on booster. If you tuned in and heard earlier, we did hear talk about a flight controller hold going in. So just a reminder, all that means is we wouldn't be able to pass that T-minus 40-second mark. They're literally talking about it right now on the loops that they think they've got the problem figured out. It was an issue on the booster where we think we will be clear by about the T-minus 2 minute mark, and we will be able to move load continuing. We're not holding or anything yet. And we're expecting that issue to clear before we get to that T-minus 40 mark. This morning, though, we did all of the usual checkouts, aligned the navigation systems, did all of our booster and ship tank purges, got them ready for prop load, chill down the pad, which you can see all the cryo right now. Things are pretty chilly out there. Prop load's been going. We just did a flap check out. We also do a wiggle check out on the chopstick arms as well. We are going to continue loading prop for about another 6 minutes. We're going to close ship at about 3 minutes, 20 seconds before launch. Boost, we've had at least one issue that we're still working in the background, expecting that to clear before we hit that kind of that hold gate at T-minus 40 seconds, and looking good.
Yeah. So bottom line, things are looking good for liftoff here in just under 9 minutes. We're now at looks like 8 minutes and 49 seconds. So everything's looking green so far.
Yeah. Before we get any closer to liftoff, I need to shamelessly plug Starbase. I'm one of just a couple thousand people who work here, soon to be the newest city in Texas at Starbase, and we're the largest employer in the area. We're always hiring. It's where the future is being built, and it's a future we can all be pretty excited about. So yeah, come work here. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's launch a rocket.
All right, so we're coming up to 8 minutes until liftoff. As we mentioned before, flight controllers are already on miles away from the pad, but they will soon be moving here with us to Star Factory. So a lot of excitement around that, certainly growing.
Yeah, and again, general status check. We're continuing to progress. We're under 8 minutes away. We're tracking an issue with booster. We're expecting that to clear. Still looking good for launch. Speaking of booster, let's talk about catching one.
Absolutely.
The tower's 2 giant robotic arms that lift and stack Starship on a Super Heavy for final integration ahead of flight. We also use those to catch. It means we don't have any landing legs in the booster. Makes the booster lighter. Means we can throw more payload into space.
Exactly. Following liftoff and after the 2 stages separate in flight, Super Heavy will return to the launch site, the same exact launch site that it lifted off from, reignite its engines to slow the vehicle down. Here we see playback from a